Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering On the Origin of the World, Part 2 with Steve Mcrae. How you doing, Steve?
That was one of the greatest intros I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
You do? Oh my God!
Wow, you miss every week.
Yeah, he's gonna be shocked when he finds out we do that every single week.
Yep.
Yeah,
I assume it's pretty standard, but it's just like well orchestrated, or has some resonance, it has like harmonic sounds, and good harmony.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad someone appreciates it.
Wonderful.
Yes, they have perfected it over the period of nearly 400 different episodes.
Yeah, right.
And by the way, nobody can see. I don't care if they can see me or not, but I've obviously it just said my robe for this, so didn't really get dressed up. But I don't know.
Oh yeah,
we got you on the black and white camera. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. It's very noir.
It's very noir.
Although I do.
I was like, I'm gonna get ready here, put on a robe.
I do remember that right after I started doing the Bible show with Aaron on his channel, he there was some people that came over to watch this show and Atheist Sunday School, and there was this one guy who was like, the very moment we started speaking together like that, they're like, nope, I can't listen to this, completely unprofessional. So annoying, and I'm like, okay, fair enough.
That was awesome.
I don't think it does nothing to the actual quality of the subject matter that we discuss and how we discuss it, but I get how it can be grating sometimes. Well, I understand that.
We should maximize that grating feeling. We should hire a children's choir in order to deliver it. Record that and put it at the beginning of every episode.
That is horrifying.
You guys are going to really have to plan far in advance and get them all to do it in one take. And yeah, you could do it. I could imagine we could afford that.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that for the Quran? Like have a
don't
choir sing all of our segments, intros and outros and shit?
Well, come on. Might be able to find something on Fiverr then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe.
We would have to go through a lot, actually.
Yeah.
So let's avoid that.
Yeah.
And instead focus on the task at hand, which is reading On the Origin of the World. I have the Nag Hammadi Scriptures, the revised and updated translation of sacred Gnostic texts, complete in one volume, edited by Marvin Mayer. Advisory board including Wolf Peter Funk, Paul Hubert Poiret, and James M. Robinson, with an introduction by Elaine H. Pagels. This section is based on the translation and commentary and introduction by Marvin Mayer.
And I have Lost Scriptures from Bart Ehrman. This is to go along with his book Lost Christianities. And the translation that he is using is from Hans Gebhard Bethsch. I can't pronounce that.
I think you got it.
That is a weird name, but hard to pronounce though. It's so Beth and then GE at the end. Yeah. So I probably butchered it, but either way,
Bethke.
Yes. I don't know. And I sent Steve a link to I forget which website, but it does have a translation, and I did check it just to make sure that it was still similar enough to where it can be followed along, and it is. So we're 100% reading the same book. And of course, as is tradition, Lost Scriptures has kind of an errated version of the text. So I will be reading up until my version ends, and then these two guys are going to split up their reading.
Yeah, and Steve, do you know who translated your stuff?
It might be at the top of the page or something. I don't know.
My stuff has been translated by Hans Gebhard Bethsch and Ben.
All right, perfect. Yes. Then we're using the same translation, just yours is longer than mine. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's what we got going. All right, perfect. In that case, I suppose, unless someone has something important to say.
Important.
Thank you, Chris.
Sure, we all have a lot of important things to say, but now is neither the time nor the place
Nope.
to say them.
Instead, we're just going to get started with the reading. All right. Continue on, because there are no chapters and verses in these. And the first soul, Psyche, loved Eros, who was with her. And actually, should we at least kind of do like a recap of the stuff we learned last time? I don't know.
Well, this translation here, it says that it literally says the first soul or Psyche loved Eros.
That's the word that's used there. Yeah, it's in parentheses here.
Yes.
So even though the thing is, that's how we translate it, but in the Greek it would be psuche.
I guess maybe for Steve's case, I could give a quick recap.
Yeah.
My super brief synopsis. Would you like that?
Yeah, I haven't read Sophia Pistis for quite some time in Gnostic literature.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, so yeah, last time, Super God, basically from Super Heaven, made I guess 12 other things. Some of them were like
That'd be Yaldabaoth.
Yaldabaoth. That's right.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes,
Right.
and one of them was Saldabaoth or something, right? A son. Yeah.
Yeah. So Yaldabaoth was actually the supreme god's grandson, I think, right?
Right.
Because Sophia was one of the original.
beings, yeah.
Yeah.
She was the lesser Aeon. Aeon.
Aeon, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, and she wanted her own kind of I guess what was the word? Starts with an E, and not emissions. She didn't want her own. What she want? She wanted her emanations.
Okay. I was like, oh wow,
She
listen, that's a
fell
different
from
show.
Flora. Yeah. So she fell from Flora and then put the divine spark in everybody, which is the gnosis, the knowledge that the God that created this world specifically was the bad God, the trickster, the Loki type God, and then the unknown God that Jesus was talking about was the true God that created all the heavens above and everything.
Right. That's the general idea.
We haven't even gotten to Adam and Eve yet.
No.
Oh.
We were talking about the other primordial beings and their offspring as well. Like
Yeah.
Death had some kids who were hermaphroditic, who then impregnated themselves and had kids. So there's like,
And
I don't know.
And begot.
Yeah. They had like 72, they just say numbers, fortunately. They don't list all of them. They listed some of the important ones, like,
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of them. There was like a second Sophia, right? Because there was a Sophia that was Yaldabaoth.
Yeah, there's Pistis Sophia, and then there is a second Sophia who is actually the feminine form of Astaphios.
Yeah, so
Who is is actually
Jesus, right?
not a descendant of Yaldabaoth, but is contemporary with Yaldabaoth.
yeah. So yeah, if
The
you guys,
feminine form was related to Jesus. The feminine form was the sister tree of Jesus.
I don't think it's the thing is we're not even there yet.
Right.
So
Here,
I haven't read this stuff in a while, but I love this stuff. Go
so
on.
at this point, each of the divine beings have both a feminine form and a masculine form.
Yeah.
So they're all androgynous.
Yeah, and some people think I see Justin asking in the chat what happened to Seabass. Well, Seabass was a massive douche nozzle. He decided to be super sexist, and that was kind of the last straw for me. He was already kind of a dick all the time, right?
I didn't even think I banned him, but I guess I did.
No, I made sure of it.
You made sure?
I went back and checked, yeah.
And I did.
Yeah. So
Huh.
it would just be hide user on this channel.
That's what that is.
Yeah, it should just say block. I don't know why it doesn't. So
I clicked the correct thing. Then.
yeah, so when we were covering in 1 Corinthians, there's that section about how women shouldn't speak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like, yep, women should shut up. And we're like, yep, nope, done. Absolutely done. Like, he was already dick before, right? Because when people, including us and our chat, he said a while ago that his wife had died or something, and then we were expressing our sympathies, like a normal person does. And he's like, I don't need your sympathies, you like heathens and shit like that. And then he went on to say that he was glad that his wife died because it led him to God. So he was already a piece of shit.
That's a pretty screwed up logic there.
It is. Yes, it is. So yeah, he had enough chances on this channel, so he was out of there.
Yeah, dude just said the same shit over and over again otherwise, and it's getting tiresome.
I'm sure he'll come in with an alt eventually.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, day of days.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm going to continue on here.
Please.
And the first soul, Psuke, that would be the word that's used there, loved Eros, who was with her, and poured her blood upon him and upon the earth. And out of that blood, the rose first sprouted up out of the earth, out of the thorn bush, to be a source of joy for the light that was to appear in the bush. And that was
Forethought.
Forethought, that's right.
Said we had a disconnect, and we're back.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Hello.
We didn't lose any drop frames on our end, so it was YouTube.
Are we back, chat?
We are back.
Are we back?
We were gone for literally 1.2 seconds, according to YouTube. Thanks.
For 1.2 seconds. Nice.
Yeah.
Might have something to do with the weather. I don't know.
Yeah, we are having a blizzard,
Yeah, we're in the middle of a blizzard.
so I can't blame YouTube for
Let's
being...
not linger on the weather, and instead let's focus on the text, because here, yes, we have, my translation says, fragrant flowers of every kind sprouted from the earth from the blood of each of the virgin daughters of Forethought.
Oh, okay. Great.
So,
Virgin daughters of who?
A forethought.
yes, and Forethought
is one of the...
Panoa means is related to paranoia. It's an antithesis of that.
No, yeah, it is different because pro and para are two different.
yes.
Yeah.
Forethought is Yaldabaoth's feminine name.
There you go.
All right. And they, when they had become enamored of Eros, poured out their blood upon him and upon the earth. After these, every plant sprouted up from the earth, different kinds, containing the seed of the authorities and their angels.
When they say seed, they are literally referring to semen, because the word used is actually the word for semen.
Yeah. After these, the authorities created out of the waters all species of beast and the reptiles and birds, different kinds, containing the seed of the authorities and their angels. Once again, semen. But before all these, when he had appeared on the first day, he remained upon the earth, something like 2 days, and left the lower pronoia in heaven and ascended towards his light.
So,
Interesting.
when they're talking about this, my translation doesn't just say he, it says Adam of light. And as you know,
So like a mana light thing?
yes, the light of the first Adam appeared previously, just at the end of our reading last week. So this is not Adam, the Adam of clay. This is the Adam of light, which precedes the Adam of clay.
Yep. As it is in heaven, so it shall be on earth, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ascended towards his light. And immediately darkness covered all the universe. Now, when she wished, the Sophia who was in the lower heaven received authority from Pistis. Would that be Pistis Sophia then? Or from Pistis itself. Faith itself, right? From the very beginning?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because Sophia flowed from Pistis,
Yeah.
making Sophia Pistis Sophia, but this other Sophia, I guess,
It's hard to interpret.
yeah, it's hard to interpret. But this is Sophia who's in the lower heaven. So I think Sophia here is not a reference to Pistis Sophia, but
It wouldn't be.
Astaphios.
Yeah.
Pistis of the faith.
So
In a sense of faith.
well, because pistis by itself, okay, so pistis has a few different meanings in Greek. It can mean proof, evidence, or faith. And they use that word interchangeably. So the best example of something demonstrating that would be pistis ek biou. That phrase means proof from life. And that's essentially anecdotal evidence. So it's still, a method of reasoning, the way that the word pistis was used in Greek. So when we talk about faith today, people often conflate it with something that it historically was not, or historically that the word was not used to mean. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so Sophia, who was in the lower heaven, received authority from Pistis and fashioned great luminous bodies and all the stars.
Those are the emanations I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I think something similar to this happened in one of the Enoch books, where
the stars moved?
No, the stars were literally formed by one of these not Yahweh entities.
Okay, I don't remember which one.
I don't remember which one, but I remember it happening somewhere
Zodiac?
else.
The Zodiac,
What? No,
the houses of the Zodiac might have predated things. They were like
Oh,
the 12th level of
okay.
of heaven.
Okay, I see what
Second
you're talking
Enoch.
about.
The constellations.
Yeah, but we're trying to figure out which book we read that
I think
contained.
that's second or third Enoch.
I mean, it's got to be. It's not in First Enoch. I remember
No.
that.
Right.
No, not.
Well, yeah,
I
don't.
think third Enoch, actually, if I'm going to really pin down what it is. I think it's third Enoch, because that had all the really arcane celestial stuff. Anyways.
It did have quite a few things.
Well, you know what? Finish this next couple of sentences here.
You got it. And she put them in the sky to shine upon the earth and to render temporal signs and seasons and years and months and days and nights and moments and so forth. And in this way, the entire region upon the sky was adorned.
Yeah, so this is very reminiscent of parts of the astronomical book.
Yeah, definitely. Parts of the astronomical book. And it's something that, God, what was his name? When we were covering Enoch, and when I covered Enoch in a video about its canonization, King Zara Yaakov.
Yeah, King Zara Yaakov.
Yeah, so Steve, do you know who King Zara Yaakov is?
No idea.
He was this Ethiopian king who, so the Ethiopians have a different church, have a different biblical canon than other traditions. Now, one of the reasons for this is because King Zara Yaakov, he thought that the universe could not be understood without the Book of Enoch. That because of the Book of the Luminaries, you couldn't be able to like tell, night from day and season from season. So you kind of needed that book to understand how the universe works. So he basically included it in Ethiopian canon. I made a whole video about that.
The luminaries wouldn't have been in the sun, the moon, the stars,
yeah,
and the principalities, which are the six greater bodies: sun. Was the sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn. Those are the six major ones.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
You're right.
Yeah, those are the six principalities in the heavens. At least as far as Plemora was situated, it was six major principalities that had dominion over those.
Right. And I think the fact that Zara Yaakov and even I think he would really like this. I think maybe this should be in their canon too.
Yeah, well, keep in mind that what he's considering essential to understand the universe includes things like the sun and moon being carried by chariots through windows at opposing points of a flat earth.
That too, yeah.
Like,
Watch out for that big ice dome.
like
Yeah, you're gonna crash into it.
that was the crazy bit, was that like he actually explains like the procession of movement through the windows and how it changes over time.
I think that was the first book, right?
Yeah, that was in First Enoch.
Right.
Yeah.
Great book. Necessary to understand the
Shout
world.
out to Enoch, obviously.
Right.
Okay, continue on.
Now, when Adam of Light conceived the wish to enter his light, i.e. the eighth heaven, he was unable to do so because of the poverty that had mingled with his light. So would that be like things of that'd be things of this world, right? Because the Adam of Light was
he was too far out of accordance with the nature of that domain.
right, so he couldn't go back.
Yes.
Good to hear. I guess not for him, but good to know that. It's good information. So Then he created for himself a vast eternal realm. So he gets his own realm.
Yes, and this is specified as an aeon here in my translation.
Gotcha.
So,
And within that eternal realm, he created 6 eternal realms and their adornments, 6 in number, that were 7 times better than the heavens of chaos and their adornments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, all these eternal realms and their adornments exist within the infinity that is between the 8th heaven and the chaos below it, being counted with the universe that belongs to poverty.
oh yeah, and there's an explanation here in the next sentence.
Great. If you, singular you, want to know the arrangement of these, you will find it written in the 7th universe of the prophet Herolias.
An unknown
Prophet
work.
Herolias, yeah.
Yes. So
Great.
he does cite his source, but again, as with most of these previous works that he's cited, they've not survived in any form.
Oh no.
It's a real shame.
Well,
But-
the eighth heaven is a term from the Book of Enoch, right?
Yeah. But he's referencing a book called The Seventh Cosmos of Hierolias the Prophet.
Oh yeah.
So this is not an extant book.
Where's that book at?
It's not referenced in any other work than this one either.
That's unfortunate.
So it's completely unknown.
Was it not written?
Yeah, was it not
But
right?
we can speculate that the nature of that book is an accounting of the realms that the atom of light created.
And it's important to also remember that there are, from all the books we've read, we have seen different numbers of heavens. So we've seen it go up to 7. In this one, it looks like it's going up to 8. And we've also had one where it went up to 10, I believe.
12.
12.
Did we go up to 12?
I think it went to 12
Yes,
at one point.
we did have, like I said, the house. There was like the constellations at 11, and then like the houses of the zodiac at 12.
Yeah, and they're in different orderings.
Yeah, different orderings. Yep.
Also, it was more convoluted the lower you went. I think like 7 and 5 switched at some point.
Well, the thing is that when you're referring to works like this,
Hey, Landon.
hey Landon,
Hello, Landon.
when you're referring to works like this, it's like Merkaba literature, and Merkaba literature was basically like a mystery school tradition that relied heavily on personal revelation through mystical experiences in order to establish their base literature. So you would expect there to be a lot of variation in accountings of the numbers of heavens, the orders of heavens, and what those heavens are like, because they're all based off of the mystical experiences of different individuals at different points in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it odd though that all these experiences are actually experiences? They're actually from man observing things a posteriori. There's nothing just like not divinely given to them by God, supposedly. Like it's supposedly all of this is supposed to be like somehow given by some kind of God or information from God. Yet it's things that they just kind of would have observed just in the normal course of observing the heavens, and then making shit up about it.
Yeah. It's heavily mythologized, but it's still like
Oh yeah, 30 Enoch's anime fights a bit something.
no.
The Apocalypse of Elijah.
That was Apocalypse of Elijah.
Steve,
Okay.
have you read the Apocalypse of Elijah?
No, I have not. Is that next on my reading list?
There. So we already did a reading of it. You're welcome. And there
This
is
is the audiobook.
there's an anime fight, essentially between. So on one side it's Enoch and Elijah.
They've been resurrected from the dead to fight.
Yep, to fight Satan.
Yeah, and at this point, Enoch is like, I don't know, several galaxies wide flaming being angel thing with many wings of fire.
It sounds like the Book of Uranta, something along those lines.
Oh, have we read that?
Have you ever read that one, the Uranta book?
No.
Should we write that down?
Oh, you need to read the Uranta book.
Somebody write this down. How do you spell that?
Unfortunately for you, it's that thick. If you've never seen it, it's it's about the supercluster of gods that Jesus is a part of, the Council of the Gods.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you never heard of the Uranta book? It's like Really?
No,
Oh,
man.
gotcha.
No, I actually haven't.
Yeah.
Somehow none of us have.
How do you spell that?
I tried reading it in high school, and I was like, I have no idea what the hell I'm even looking at here.
I'm guessing.
Uranta.
Oh, wait. I think, didn't that pop up mid 20th century? And it was apparently...
Yeah, it's from the 1950s.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from the 1950s. Okay, because I was like, is this like some ancient work I don't know about?
No, it's from the 50s.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's like if you've read Worlds in Collision by Velikovsky, he was trying to take old text and try to make them for modern days. And this is what Uranta does. But it's kind of funny that everything they talk about in like these books that are of the 20th and 21st century all seem to be based upon knowledge of science from that era that was wrong later on.
Yeah, right.
Aliens were telling them this. You think the aliens would get them right, because this was translated by aliens. But the aliens got it wrong based on
little did we know about
21st century science.
That's a hell of a trip.
Yeah, it's just the fact that those aliens and their disingenuous information is all there to sabotage us.
It's the Greys.
Yeah.
Greys lie.
That's right.
All right, Lawrence.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, we can lie.
I'm going to continue with the reading, though.
Please tell the truth.
Yeah, I will, because this is a Gnostic text.
Oh.
And before Adam of Light had withdrawn in the chaos, the authorities saw him and laughed at the prime parent because he had lied when he said, "It is I who am God. No one exists before me." When they came to him, they said, "Is this not the God who ruined our work?" He answered and said, "Yes. If you do not want him to be able to ruin our work, come, let us create a human being out of earth, according to the image of our body and according to the likeness of this being." Of course, talking about Adam of Light. To serve us, so that when he, Adam of Light, sees his likeness, he might become enamored of it. No longer will he ruin our work. Rather, we shall make those who are born out of the light our servants for all the duration of this eternal realm.
So it's literally to enslave them. And mine translates this as to make the servants, the children of light, our slaves for this entire age.
Yeah, essentially. So they're making all these people to just have them worship.
Yes, and this is a conversation.
But of course, remember back in Genesis 1, because it does say, let us make man in our image.
Yes.
It uses the plurals. So they are now adding an explanation for that.
Yes, and
that was the council of the gods, right?
Yeah, it was the council of the gods. There's clear
this
evidence
is
of
the
it.
chief creator who is issuing this order for the gods to collaborate on in response to the Adam of Light.
Yeah, and we of course get a huge, it's not even a hint. It's basically straight up out there. It's what it says in Psalm 82. You can see that to see the council of the gods.
Yes.
It's still it's not like a hidden thing. It's just in the Bible now.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
All right.
We are revealing hidden knowledge.
I am.
Hey, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, continuing on. After I clear my throat. No longer will he ruin our work. Rather, we shall make those who are born out of the light our servants for all the duration of this eternal realm. Now, all of this came to pass according to the forethought of Pistis, in order that a human being should appear after his likeness, and should condemn them because of their modeled form. And their modeled form became an enclosure of the light. And that's stuff we've seen before, where essentially humans are just clothed in flesh, but they have, the spiritual insides, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like, no, yeah, but that was with the angels in Blavatsky, right? Didn't she also do that same sort of shtick?
Blavatsky does just about everything.
That's true.
So
she does.
I'm not sure. You could literally bring up anything.
True, and just say,
within
"Didn't
this
Blavatsky?"
area, right?
I'm going to continue then.
Yeah.
Then the authorities received the acquaintance, gnosis, So that'd be knowledge, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, necessary to create man. Sophia Zoe, and Zoe's life, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm. Zoe's always hot, if you remember that.
Also true.
Or Eve of Zoe.
Right. She who is with Sabaoth had anticipated them, and she laughed at their decision, for they are blind. Against their own interests, they ignorantly created them, and they do not realize what they are about to do. The reason she anticipated them and made her own human being first was in order that he might instruct their modeled form how to despise them and thus to escape from them. Wow, how rude.
Oh, wow.
Can I say something about because my text is a little bit different from what you have sent to me, because it says that then the authorities received the knowledge, gnosis, necessary to create man. Gnosis is obviously Greek for knowledge, but gnosis, when it was ever used, as everything I've ever read in the form of the Gnostic text, always referred to a special form of knowledge, not merely just epistemic knowledge, not like we think of like just try to believe, but it was a very specific form of hidden knowledge, which was the divine spark that, I don't know if you got that far or not, the divine spark that Sophia left in everyone. To knowledge of that unknown God, and that esoteric knowledge, people can become one back with the divine. So it was a very specific type of knowledge, not just epistemic knowledge. People say gnosis deals with knowledge, but it really was specifically talking to something like this, where it was knowledge of something mystical and divine and very esoteric. And I think a lot of people kind of just throw away those parts and go, it just means knowledge, because that's what it means in the Greek, but that's not what it meant in the Gnostic literature.
Yeah, Gnostics, because that's where we get their name from.
Yeah.
So they believe that they had that secret knowledge. Yeah.
Yep.
So do quantum physicists.
Yep. They all those arrogant quantum physicists believing they have all that secret knowledge.
We get an explanation.
Falsified. Deal with it.
We get an explanation.
Reality is not real locally.
We get an explanation for the two different origin scenes of humanity in the upcoming paragraphs.
Perfect. Now, the production of the instructor came about as follows. When Sophia let fall a droplet of light, it flowed onto the water, and immediately a human being appeared, being androgynous, just like the one before. Mm-hmm. That droplet she modeled first as a female body. Afterward, using the body, she molded it in the likeness of the mother which had appeared. And he finished it in... Okay, then. Oh, right. This is about the about the atom of light, I'm guessing?
No,
because it changes from she to he. Unless that's just a typo.
Mine does not change from she
Okay, it's just a typo. And she finished it in 12 months. An androgynous human being was produced, whom the Greeks call hermaphrodites, and whose mother the Hebrews call Eve of life.
Yes, which could also be translated as Eve of Zoe. And continue on to complete the sentence.
Namely, the female instructor of life. Her offspring is the creature that is Lord. Yes. Afterward, the authorities call it beast. So that it might lead astray their modeled creatures. The interpretation of the beast is the instructor, for it was found to be the wisest of all beings.
Yes, and my translation says that this is a reference to the serpent in paradise, which I'm not sure about, but this is interesting because it gives us multiple explanations. First of all, this does happen prior to the creation of Adam, so it's not in order, right? It says that the authorities received the knowledge to create humanity, but Sophia Zoe, who is with Sabaoth, anticipated them, and then she created her own human being first, prior to the creation of Adam, the human. So
Zoe is Greek for life, which in the Hebrew translates to Eve, right? Like Adam and Eve, right?
Yes. And so this creation of life, basically, is Eve, the Eve of life, right? or the Eve of Zoe, which would be why there were two human beings, male and female, in one creation story, and only one followed by another in another creation story, because this is a different character. This is a different Eve by a different creator.
I think they talked about how if humans were to become their, hermaphroditic form again, they'd be complete or something in a different Gnostic text. Do you remember that, guys?
Yeah, there was in the last one that we read, wasn't there?
Was there?
I remember something about
that. In the Gospel of Philip.
Oh, okay.
Right? There was that whole bit about the unity being fundamental.
They were like originally this being, I guess, Eve of Zoe is this being that they're talking about. That's this powerful form of man before they're divided.
Well, she's also made in accordance with, like, I guess, what is essentially the Platonic form of mother, right?
Yeah.
So this is what she is. It's an interesting way to go about it.
But yeah, I do remember like that unity. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the syzygy of male and female is like a fundamental aspect of at least some parts of Gnosticism. There's different schools of thought too.
Just remember, Gnosticism would have won out over Christianity after the Hellenistic period, and most people going to church would be believing this right now.
That is true.
Yeah.
But the thing is, think
about that.
Yeah,
because they were in competition between like the 1st and 4th centuries, right? Which is, just not long after the Hellenistic period. So, I mean, there was a lot of competition between Gnosticism and Christianity.
Yeah,
Christianity clearly won, but
yeah, it would have been because the thing about Christianity was it never tried to be like a hidden knowledge kind of thing. Like they made it, pretty available. I mean, even like, you have, for example, the conversion of Constantine.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't like trying to like keep everything kind of like, everything's super, super hidden, and
Yeah, one of them was the boys' club, and the other one was trying to be the everybody can join
for the people,
club.
for the masses.
For the masses, yeah.
Yeah, big surprise that populism went out.
What? Oh no!
Oh man, I'm just dying.
You're doing great.
Now, Eve is the first virgin, the one who without a husband bore her first offspring. It is she who served as her own midwife. For this reason, she is held to have said, "It is I who am part of my mother, and it is I who am the mother. It is I who am the wife, it is I who am the virgin. It is I who am pregnant. It is I who am the midwife. It is I who am the one that comforts pains of travail. It is my husband who bore me, and it is I who am his mother. And it is he who is my father and my Lord, and it is he who is my force. What he desires, he says with reason. I am in the process of becoming, yet I have borne a man as Lord." And that was a whole lot of stuff that...
And this says, check for reference Thunder, which is another poem that was referenced earlier in the same work. Thunder 13 through 14. And Genesis 4:1. So I am going to just pull up right here. Genesis 4:1.
Okay.
Give me one moment. All right, 4:1. Adam lay with his wife Eve, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Cain. She said, "With the help of the Lord, I have brought forth a man."
Okay. Oh, okay. That's the whole thing. Okay. So they just took the vague idea of that verse and ran with it. Mm-hmm. Classic. All right. Now these through the will, and there's a textual break here.
Of Sabaoth.
Okay.
And his Christ.
Okay. Of Sabaoth and his Christ. That would make sense with what's coming up. The souls that were going to enter the modeled forms of the authorities were manifested to Sabaoth and his Christ. And regarding these, the holy voice said, multiply and improve, be Lord over all creatures. And it is they who were taken captive according to their destinies by the prime parent. And thus they were shut into the prisons of the modeled forms. So, finally being solidified as humans.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the prime parent then rendered an opinion concerning man to those who were with him.
Wait, yours is missing some text.
Oh, is it? Great.
So the material is all garbled up.
That's probably why.
But there is a reference to something happening until the end of the age. It says the text reads that it just says that this and what follows seems to be in error. So I could see why it was not put in your edited version, but it does exist in the original text.
Holy shit. All right. I'm going to continue on here. I don't actually have that much more to go.
Okay.
Yeah, and at that time, the prime parent then rendered an opinion concerning man to those who were with him. Then each of them cast his sperm into the midst of the navel of the earth, because that is how reproduction works.
Oh.
Yes.
Since that day...
God, I've been doing it all wrong.
Yeah, right? Come on, Steve.
Imagine if the Gnostics won.
Yeah, right? Imagine...
No.
We would all be having sex with gopher holes.
Yeah.
We would
as
all,
is tradition.
Look, we would, as atheists, agnostics, whatever, we would be arguing with people who literally believe that a bunch of these divine entities like circle jerked into a hole in the earth. And
See, that would at least be more interesting.
yeah, I guess.
Or maybe just be more interesting because we wouldn't be used to it. Like, do you think people living in that world would think that...
as an absurdist, they just get used to it. That's what I think. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would just be like the reality we have now, where there's a bunch of absurd crap.
But like then if we start talking...
Just really look at it from an objective point of view, and it's like, this is just random gunk anyways, so...
Right, but if we... Like, if we were in that world and we got used to whatever that was, then if someone told us about a book like, like the stuff we've been reading in the Bible, like, would they be just as shocked? Probably.
There's a lot more stuff about how poorly to treat people.
Right, there's a lot more stuff about woes.
I feel like the Bible is pretty tame in comparison with a lot of the stuff.
It is, yeah. So maybe they did a really good job narrowing it down.
Actually, you know what this reminds me of? The alphabet of Ben Sira.
Yeah, but it's not quite.
It's not quite like that at all, but there is a similar scene which occurs with Jeremiah.
Yeah, there.
Right.
Okay, Steve, do you know about the alphabet of Ben Sira?
I do not.
So that is the funniest book we have read on this show. It is an ancient Jewish parody. It's from around like 800 CE to like 1000. It's somewhere in there. We're not totally certain of that, but a lot of people took it seriously, which is why you know the story about Lilith being like the first wife of Adam. Yeah, that's where that comes from. It comes from that ancient Jewish parody. It's a joke book, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Lilith was the first wife of Adam, and her offspring became demons.
Well, her offspring did.
Demons.
Yeah. But yes, essentially that is where that myth comes from this joke
it came
book.
From Jewish text, but I don't know the specifics of where it was from.
Yeah, it's a whole long tradition. I have a whole video about it. It's my most popular video. But
that they think is comical, but not the serpent, apple, sin, tree of knowledge kind of stuff.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people didn't take it as a joke. But what I am saying here is like this one is funny in some ways and it's crude in some ways, but it is nothing in compared to how brilliant and hilarious the alphabet of Ben Sira is. There's a lot of stuff. There's like fart jokes in there. There's like different. There's like a story about Noah wanting to fuck this bird's wife, and the bird's wife, who is also a bird, is like, "You're just trying to fuck my wife."
Yeah, like
pretty weird.
He has to send out a bird to see if the water's receding, right?
Oh, right.
And when he asks this one kind of bird, the bird's like, "You just want to fuck my wife. I'm not gonna fly off."
Yeah, it sounds like Jewish, comedy.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty fucking funny.
We read it for April Fools. It was a good read.
All right, I'm going to continue on here. So since that day, the 7 rulers have fashioned man with his body resembling their body, but his likeness resembling the man that had appeared to them. His modeling took place by parts, one at a time, and their leader fashioned the brain and the nervous system. Afterwards, he appeared as prior to him. He became a soul-endowed man, and he was called Adam, that is, Father, according to the name of the one that existed before him.
You know, it's interesting how they recognize the importance of the brain and nervous system.
I was going to say, we might actually have had a slightly more progressive, society if some of these things were that way. Some of the,
because they had to do some autopsies to get that information, which was traditionally banned. Dissecting bodies,
but it's secret knowledge.
Yeah,
Steve.
exactly. Secret
How else
knowledge.
are they gonna get it?
That's probably why
they did this. And they probably would have been executed if this was known that they were actually dissecting people.
Right. No, but they definitely probably were. I mean, people knew brains existed. Like not just like people getting their heads caved in occasionally. But I'm sure physicians of the time would have had to examine bodies.
Which guy was it that died 3 different ways, and one of them was an anvil to the head? Like a lady dropped an anvil on his head, and then he had to be killed with a sword afterwards.
I don't remember.
Oh, was it Solomon?
I know Rasputin was hard to kill. It took him a few tries. He was stabbed, poisoned, a few other things, wasn't he?
Yeah,
you're referring to the different stories of how Saul died.
How Saul died. Right.
Saul,
okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I was like, what? Solomon? What? I don't remember this about Solomon.
Yeah, Rasputin might not have had any magic powers, but he sure was hard to kill.
That's true. True. Yeah. Very true.
So is that where your text ends?
Yes, that is where my text ends.
Then,
hey. Why don't you just sit there uselessly for the rest of the episode?
So I'm going to tell the audience that if they're enjoying the stream so far, they should like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends, family, neighbors,
families, neighbors,
families. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Families, neighbors,
and neighbors' families.
Yes. Indeed.
We can only spread via person. YouTube has blacklisted us. Thank you.
Yeah. YouTube does not want us to have a stream with thousands of people in it.
Never.
No, they don't want us to talk about the Bible.
No. This isn't in the Bible, though.
Or the not Bible.
Or the not Bible.
Or the could have been Bible.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll take over. After Adam was made, the chief creator abandoned him as a lifeless vessel, since Adam was formed like an aborted fetus with no spirit.
Wow. All right. Mm-hmm. So I guess now we know how those fetuses are without spirit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I guess what's really the loss? Exactly. Come on.
Yeah. What's the problem with aborting fetuses? They have no spirit.
Yeah. Exactly. There you go. See, it's in the Gnostic literature. That's the hidden stuff.
Again, they might have been more progressive, Steve.
Yep.
Like, but it's important to know it would have been progressive for the wrong reasons.
Right. For backwards reasons. I mean, yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I guess if it works for you.
When the chief ruler recalled the word of Pistis, he was afraid that the true human might enter his modeled body and rule over it. So he left his modeled body 40 days without soul, and he withdrew and left him. On the 40th day, Sophia Zoe blew her breath into Adam, in whom there was no soul. He began to crawl on the ground. But
that makes sense. It's the breath of life. It's literally the breath of life.
But
that's brought up a lot.
Because breath of Zoe, yeah.
Yeah. But he could not stand up. When the 7 rulers came and saw him, they were greatly troubled. They approached him and grabbed him, and the chief ruler said to the breath within him, "Who are you? Where have you come from?" He answered and said, I have come through the power of the human to destroy your work. There seems to be an awkward transition in thought here in the text, and a portion of the text may be missing.
Okay. Steve, since the rest of this, so we have the same translation, right?
It just says this is the unedited version.
Okay, yeah, this is the one I have is edited. So in your version, what does it say for that section where it says that yours is garbled up?
I have come through the power of the human to destroy your work.
I have come from the force of man for the destruction of your work. When they heard and they glorified him, since he gave them the respite from fear and the anxiety in which they found themselves.
Oh, okay. So yours just skips over that entire thing. Mine just has it listed as an area with missing text.
Okay.
Mine goes on to say, when they heard this, they glorified him because he gave them rest from their fear and concern. They called that day the day of rest because they rested themselves from their troubles. When they saw that Adam could not stand up, they were glad. They took him and put him in paradise and withdrew up to their heavens. So this is the Sabbath. Little talking baby Adam who can't stand up and walk around yet. They don't consider a threat. So they are going to put him...
Remember back in the day when in the alphabet of Ben Sira, when children were born with fully speaking abilities.
Oh, yeah, and they argued with rabbis immediately after being born.
Yeah, and then there was that one at the end of First Enoch, right? With was that Noah?
Was it?
Or Methuselah?
Might have been
I forget who it was, but at the very end of the book...
Statistically, it's Methuselah. He lived a lot
right,
longer.
Statistically.
I think it's Methuselah.
Yeah. But at the very end of the book, kids born with like full teeth and the ability to speak, stuff like that. Whatever happened to those days?
They just walked out and put on a top hat.
Look what the Gnostics are doing. Look what the Gnostics have done to Adam.
Yeah, man. So this is what Sabbath is. It's Sabbath days when they're like, oh yeah, don't have to worry about this guy. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, because they rested.
Yeah. Now, after the day of rest, Sophia sent her daughter Zoe, called Eve, as an instructor to raise Adam. So the primordial mother that was created prior to Adam. In whom there was no soul, so that the children he would engender might be vessels of light.
Oh, Adam didn't start with the soul?
No, he has no soul.
Huh.
He only has life, but no soul.
Yeah.
When Eve saw her male partner on the ground, she felt sorry for him and said, Adam, live, get up from the ground. At once, her word became an accomplished deed. When Adam got up, at once he opened his eyes and saw her and said, you will be called the mother of the living because you have given me life.
Okay.
Sure, yeah.
Let's
Good
see.
first words, Adam.
Genesis 3:20.
I mean, in this case, I should...
Oh, you want to...
Oh, that's funny. I moved, I was checking something in the Bible with, I think it was actually when I was talking to Landon, when we were doing the after show, or yeah, like the patron hangout. And I think I brought, my copy of the Bible over there, and I think I just left it. It should be on that table, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to grab
Yeah.
it?
I mean, it's sure, I guess.
But the verse says, Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all the living.
Ah, okay, I see. So two different explanations for why they would each be named Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they're, essentially just the counterparts.
Yes. Now, I'm going to give you guys...
Yes, thank you, Chris.
I'm going to give you guys a trigger warning in the audience.
Uh-oh.
Because this next section is called The Powers Rape Earthly Eve.
Oh, my God. Okay, yeah. Let's, good Good suggestion.
I'm triggered.
If you guys don't want to hear about that, then yeah, feel free to mute for a bit, I guess. And we'll do, I don't know, something when
do a
we
dance.
We'll do a dance when we come back, when that part's over.
No, do that again.
Okay.
Yeah, that dance.
All right. The authorities were told that their modeled body was alive and had gotten up, and they were greatly troubled. They sent 7 archangels to see what had happened. They came to Adam, and when they saw Eve speaking with him, they said to each other, "Who is this enlightened woman? She looks like what appeared to us in the light. Come, let's seize her and ejaculate our semen into her, so that she might be unclean and unable to ascend to her light, and her children will serve us. But let's not tell Adam, because he's not one of us. Instead, let's put him to sleep and suggest to him in his sleep that Eve came from his rib,
Holy
so
shit.
that the woman may serve and he may rule over her."
My version is a little bit different, but yeah.
Holy shit. What an interpretation. Here's
It goes on.
It goes on. Okay.
Yes. Since Eve was a heavenly power, she laughed at what they had in mind. She blinded their eyes and secretly left something that resembled her with Adam. She entered the tree of knowledge and stayed there. The rulers chased her, and she revealed to them that she had entered the tree and become a tree.
Oh.
The blind powers fell into great fear and ran away. Later, when they recovered their sight, they came to Adam. They saw a female like that woman with him, and they were troubled and thought this was the true Eve. They acted rashly. They came to her, seized her, and ejaculated their semen upon her. The powers acted wickedly. They defiled her in ways natural and obscene.
Wow.
First, they defiled the seal of her voice, which had said to them, "What exists before you?" In this way, they meant also to defile those who say they were born at the end of the age through the word, through the true human. The authorities and their angels erred. They did not know they defiled their own body and likeness in all these ways. That's the end of the section.
We're done with that part. Wow. Okay.
The consequence of it is that Heavenly Eve is now the tree of knowledge. And Earthly Eve, who Heavenly Eve created to replace her and trick these guys,
right? Yeah.
Is now probably impregnated with
yeah. So
this is where Cain came from.
These are the so like they're essentially just trying to trick the earthly, right? They're trying to trick the earthly ones, or the other way around, or are the earthly Adam and Eve trying to trick the heavenly ones?
Right. And now we have an explanation.
That was a question.
Right.
So are the earthly Adam and Eve? Or sorry, I think it's the heavenly Adam and Eve. They are trying to trick the earthly ones.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So,
or the authorities. Sorry.
The heavenly Eve wants to trick the authorities, so she creates earthly Eve.
Right. And then the authorities do their thing with earthly Eve. But then didn't they say that they were doing it to try to get one over on,
so that her children would serve them?
Right, yeah, there we go.
And then they feed Adam this lie that Eve was created from his rib.
Yeah. So that's that's Gnostics.
Well, they have a very interesting interpretation of how the outcome of that works too, as we'll see in the upcoming few sentences. She first became pregnant with Abel from the first ruler, and then she gave birth to her other children from the 7 authorities and their angels. All this happened in accordance with the chief creator's forethought, so that the first mother might bear within herself every seed, everyone mixed and joined with the fate of the world and its configurations and justice. So this is, what God wants, and
Sure.
it's in line with justice. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
But also their interpretation is that from this one act that she just continually remained pregnant and gave birth to different children
Yeah.
of different angels.
Although it kind of looks like she's holding more than one at a time.
Yeah, she first became pregnant with Abel from the first ruler. Then she gave birth to her other children from the 7 authorities and their angels.
Right, but she became pregnant. It doesn't say that gave birth.
Right.
Which is why,
So, like, it sticks around,
I guess,
like,
for a while.
the
I don't know.
nature of these things, like, it just continually happens to her, I guess.
Sure.
Is that the implication? This sounds like hell. Like, that doesn't
Yeah,
sound
it does.
good.
It sounds awful.
Yeah.
This entire thing, or these last few seconds, have been awful.
Yeah. A plan for...
Yeah, right, April. That tracks.
Yeah. A plan for Eve emerged that the modeled bodies of the authorities might contain the light. Then the light would condemn the authorities through their own modeled bodies. The first atom of light is spiritual and appeared on the first day. The second atom is physical and appeared on the 6th day, called Aphrodite.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So they're explaining the origins of other gods as well.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense.
The third Adam is earthly, a person of law, who appeared on the 8th day, called Sunday, after the poor day of rest, after the Sabbath.
Yeah.
The offspring of earthly Adam multiplied and filled the earth, and they acquired all the technical skills physical Adam had, but they all were in ignorance.
I was going to ask how much longer is that? Because...
Oh, I have pages upon pages.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah. I'll
right.
switch it off to Steve soon.
Yeah.
Like, maybe after another page, maybe after 2 more pages.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Let me continue. That's actually in the text.
Oh, okay.
See, prophetic work here, Lawrence. Let me continue. When the rulers saw him and the woman with him in error and ignorance like animals, they were very pleased. Then they found out that the immortal human was not going to pass them by, and they would even have to fear the woman who turned into a tree. They were troubled and said, "Could this be the one who blinded us and taught us about the defiled woman who resembles the true human in order to overpower us?" The 7 hatched a plot.
Wow. Okay. So
They approached.
They just came up with that one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, they figured it out. They figured out that Heavenly Eve is now the tree of knowledge.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But doesn't explain how.
No.
Okay. They just.
Doesn't that lady kind of look like
And-
that tree?
Yeah. Right. Like. I was like, all right. That's.
The 7 hatched a plot. They approached Adam and Eve carefully and said to him, "You may eat the fruit of every tree created for you in paradise, but be careful not to eat from the tree of knowledge. If you eat, you will die." They gave them a great fright and withdrew up to their authorities. The beast, the wisest of all creatures, came by. When it saw the likeness of their mother, Eve, it said to her, "What did God say to you? Do not eat from the tree of knowledge?" She said, "He not only said, do not eat from it, but do not touch it or you will die." The beast said to her, "Don't be afraid. You certainly will not die. He knows that when you eat from it, your minds will become sober, and you will be like gods, knowing the difference between evil and good people. He said this to you because he is jealous, so that you would not eat from it." So here the beast
Yeah.
is literally telling her the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she'll die.
Satan was the good guy.
Yeah. It wouldn't be the first time that was interpreted that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the demiurge is God.
The bad guy. Yeah.
Who's the bad guy. So this guy who's in opposition to the demiurge must be good.
Yeah.
Eve believed the words of the instructor. She looked at the tree and saw it was beautiful and appealing, and she liked it. She took some of its fruit and ate, and she gave it to her husband too, and he also ate. Their minds open. When they had eaten, the light of knowledge, gnosis, shone on them. When they clothed themselves with shame, they knew they were stripped of knowledge. When they became sober, when they saw they were naked, they fell in love.
I think April probably got it.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, April.
They saw they were naked.
The
and
usefulness
they
of mods.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing it, but you got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
When they saw
Thank you,
their
April.
makers looked like beasts, they loathed them. They understood a great deal. So now Adam and Eve are woke. They know.
They're woke. They're like, hey, you're hot.
Yeah. Look, they know exactly what's going on. They understand their situation. There's no more tricking them. They have imbibed themselves with the product of the heavenly Eve, thus, I suppose, making the earthly Eve here a more complete version.
Right, yeah.
And the earthly Adam, well, who knows what the effect is, because the earthly Adam has no soul.
Well, the thing is, yeah, that's a good point. But the thing is, so if you have this, maybe this would be the same thing that would imbue them with that ousia, right? With that same substance. So if Eve got the same thing, then you could say that this would be the introduction of the human soul, and it would maintain that spark of knowledge about all that hidden stuff.
Well, because if you remember, the heavenly Eve was created from a drop of light that came from Sophia. So the heavenly Eve is like a completely different kind of creation and is actually the true human who was mentioned earlier on as being
formed by a bunch of gods in, a human form.
Well, that was Adam. So
I thought that was Eve.
No,
the heavenly
No,
Eve.
Eve,
The heavenly
Eve
Eve.
made another Eve. Eve went into the tree of knowledge, and she created another Eve, and then tricked Adam to the other Eve came from his rib.
All right.
Yeah. That's what the
That way he was
authorities
in a
were trying
deep
to.
slumber. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the authorities did that.
Authorities.
So
Who were they?
right after this section, I'm gonna hand it off to you, Steve. When the rulers realized that Adam and Eve, literally they, had broken their commandment, they entered paradise and came to Adam and Eve with an earthquake and a great threat in order to see what happened as a result of the help that was given. Adam and Eve were very much disturbed, and they hid in the trees in paradise. The rulers did not know where they were.
That is where you go during an earthquake. Up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The rulers did not know where they were, and they said, Adam, where are you? He said, I'm here. I was ashamed and hid because I was afraid of you. They said to him ignorantly, who told you about the shame with which you clothed yourselves, unless you ate from the tree? He said, the woman that you gave me gave it to me, and I ate. They said to the woman, what have you done? She answered and said,
how dare you?
Yeah. The instructor urged me to eat, and I ate. And the rulers approached the instructor. Their eyes were blinded by it, and they could not do anything to it. They were powerless, and they cursed it. Then they came to the woman, and they cursed her and her children. After the woman, they cursed Adam and the earth and the fruit because of him. Everything they created, they cursed. There's no blessing from them. Good cannot come from evil. Since
Really fucked things up.
yeah,
Yeah, understatement.
Interesting ethics that they have here. Good cannot come from evil, right? I wonder if that follows in reality.
No. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah, morality is kind of fuzzy.
Yeah. All right. That is the middle of a section for me, but looking at the actual length, I'm going to hand it off to you, and I'm going to hop to the restroom.
All right, you have fun in there, buddy.
I will. I'll have tons of fun.
Okay, good. Just as long as you're having a good time.
Enjoy. Take your time.
Yeah, and Steve, we're going to hand off the rest of this reading off to you. And, of course, feel free to stop whenever if you have a comment or if you just want to talk about something.
And remember, this is the unedited version, so my version is not going to be the exact same as yours because there's some differences in your readings here. But okay, so this is where I went off here. Okay, from that day, the authorities knew that truly there was something mightier than they. They recognized only that their commandments had not been kept. Great jealousy was brought into the world solely because of the immortal man. Now, when the rulers saw that Adam had entered into an alien state of knowledge, they desire to test him.
That's good stuff.
They desire to test him.
Yeah. So because both of them have this divine knowledge, something that the authorities don't have.
They're pissed about that.
Yeah, they're pissed about it.
Somebody stole your administrative access.
Yeah, right. It's like, I thought I was the only one with administrative access. No, I thought I was the only one with administrative access. Anyways, go on, Steve.
And they gathered together all the domesticated animals and the wild beasts of the earth and the birds of the heaven and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. When he saw them, he gave names to the creatures. What does that relate to in Genesis?
Oh, yeah, that's when he names all the creatures. But remember, it was when he was looking for a mate, so... Yeah, maybe it's unclear in the Bible, but
the timeline's not
so he's
quite
looking for
there.
a mate. Look by looking at the bird animals: lion, nah; tiger, no; cat, no.
Essentially, that's how the story was.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's essentially how the story was. But you know what? If he saw a Vaporeon, then never mind.
Wow.
If you guys don't know about that copy
it's
pasta,
so funny because it's. We laugh, but at the same token, a lot of things in the Old Testament that I do think are obviously, fables and it just, allegorical or metaphorical or just whatever. People actually literally believe them. I mean, they actually believe that, woman came from man's rib or Adam was in there naming these animals. And yet, if they read the Gnostic text, which is, along the same similar lines because they come out from a similar derivation, they would go like, oh, that's nonsense.
Right?
Like,
Yeah, they're like, that's crazy.
Right.
Look, my father is a young earth creationist and biblical literalist, KJV onlyist. Right?
Yeah, that's like all the least scholarly things you could be all in once.
Your dad's Ken Hovind?
My dad is like Kent Hovind.
Oh God! I would.
They're of the same kind.
Ah, right.
Yes. And no, he would not accept any of this. He would think that this is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah. This is the crazy stuff.
How could you possibly believe it?
Right.
Okay. Then they became troubled because Adam had recovered from all the trials. They assembled and laid plans, and they said, "Behold, Adam!
Behold! Almost missed that one, Steve.
Behold, Adam! He has become one of us, and that he knows the difference between the light and the darkness. Now, perhaps he will be deceived, and in the case of the tree of knowledge, and will also come to the tree of life and eat from it, and become immortal, and become Lord." And despise us and disdain us in all our glory. These are some really kind of like narcissistic freaking beings.
Oh yeah.
Oh
One
yeah.
of them was literally named Envy. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were they're afraid, right? They're afraid because it was prophesied before that such a human would basically be superior to them in every way.
Yeah, and they already see that they have this special knowledge. Now, if they had some special immortality, man, that'd freak them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can continue. Yep.
Then he will denounce us. Then he will denounce us along with our universe. Come, let us expel him from paradise down to the land from which he was taken. And so then henceforth he may not be able to recognize anything better than we can. And so they expelled Adam from paradise along with his wife. And this deed that they had done was not enough for them. Rather, they were afraid. They went into the tree of life and surrounded it with great fearful things, fiery living creatures called, oh God, cherubim.
Cherubim.
Cherubim. And they put a flaming sword in their midst, fearfully twirling at all times, so that no earthly being might ever enter that place.
So it's
the flaming cherubs with swords watching the tree of knowledge, so nobody could get in again.
Yep.
It's like video game logic, how there's just like spinning obstacles in the air.
What a boring job they must have. They're just twirling a flaming sword, hoping somebody won't drop by. None shall pass.
I don't know that they're trolling the whole time. They only troll when they see somebody. Come on, Steve.
Mm.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're contractually obligated to twirl the whole time.
What a horrible life.
Well, mine says that the flaming sword was put among them, and that it constantly turns in its own.
I think,
without their...
We heard about the flaming sword. It's just a floating sword made of
It's
fire.
a floating sword that does it automatically.
Yeah, it's automatic. I mean, they're lazy.
Just one of them, though.
It's a really good sword, though.
Maybe it's like a sword that goes around the whole perimeter of the tree.
Oh, wow. That's pretty scary, yeah.
I don't know what its capabilities are, but they did hype it up a little before when they brought it up at one point when they were like, it's the thing that guards the gates of Eden or whatever.
Yeah, in the Bible, yeah. It's in Genesis.
Yeah.
Carry on.
All right. Thereupon, since the rulers were envious of Adam, they wanted to diminish their Adam and Eve's lifespans. They could not, however, because of fate, which had been fixed since the beginning. For to each had been allotted a lifespan of 1,000 years according to the course of the luminous bodies. But although the rulers could not do this, each of the evildoers took away 10 years, and all this lifespan which remained amounted to 930 years. And these are in pain and weakness and evil distraction. And so life turned out to be from that day and to the commensuration of the age. So basically, there were going to be 1,000 years. They took away 70, and this was a punishment.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
Mm-hmm. I'd be okay with that.
Slap on the wrist.
We're going to give you 930. I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but all of those 930 are spent in grief and weakness.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That is true. Life is depressing. That is true.
There's some point to that to be made, though. If people didn't know about the bad things, they would be a lot happier. I mean, if we had, think about if our bad memories ceased to be, we would all be happier people. So maybe we shouldn't have knowledge of bad things. We'd all be happy.
How would we grow as
right.
people? I mean, there's got to be some hardship.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be able to motivate ourselves to do anything.
Even I think that to a degree.
No, but like the thing is, like, in that kind of world where we would not remember the bad things or just not have bad things happen, would we even really have the need to
Get better?
Yeah, because everything's fine.
Right.
What would be the point?
No, I think that is a real
there's
issue with stagnant cultures. You can look at the cultures that didn't advance very much, and that's because they thought they had what they needed.
Right, but it's only in comparison to other cultures.
But if you take it to its extreme, like a complete lack of knowledge of anything that's like good or bad, right? Who's to say that feeling hungry is bad?
Well, but if Christians are right and people are saved and God wipes away, all the pain and tears and stuff like that, then basically isn't he just like making everybody happy?
Oh yeah,
by wiping away anything that's bad, including bad memories.
He does in some of these texts do that at the end of the world.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Okay. Then when Sophia Zoe saw that the rulers of darkness had laid a curse upon her counterparts, she was indignant. And coming out from the first heaven with full power, she chased those rulers out of the heavens and cast them down into the sinful world, so that they should dwell in the form of evil spirits, demons upon the earth. Another demon story. so that in their world it may pass 1,000 years in paradise, a soul-endowing living creature called Phoenix. It kills itself and brings itself to life as a witness to judgment against them, for they did wrong to Adam and his generation, under the commensuration of the age. There are 3 men, and his posterities unto the consummation of the world, the spirit endowed of entity, the soul endowed, and the earthly. Likewise, the 3 phoenixes in paradise, the first is immortal, the second lives 1,000 years. As for the third, it is written in the sacred book that is consumed. So, too, there are 3 baptisms. The first is by spiritual, the second is by fire, the third, guess what? By water.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, surprising. Just as the phoenix appears as a witness concerning the angels, so the case of water hydri in Egypt, which has been a witness to those going down into the baptism of true man.
So I want to interrupt you for just one moment. The phoenixes throughout this section may also be interpreted as palm trees, depending on the context.
Those are quite different.
As in Psalm 91:13 in the Septuagint, and in the Hudria as water pots like those which Solomon confined demons according to the Testament of Solomon. Apparently, these are related in some way to Psalm 91:13.
We said it's the Septuagint version of.
Septuagint version, yes.
So if that's the Septuagint version, then the Masoretic one would be. Would that be one after or before?
Because in Psalm 91:13 in the Septuagint, there is a line that could be read in 2 different ways. One would be, the just will sprout like a phoenix, which is going to be referenced later in this work. And the other way to interpret it is, the just will sprout like a palm tree. Apparently, due to how the phrasing works. I don't know.
Those are pretty different.
All right. This would be easier if I had
a Septuagint.
Well, we do have a Septuagint. It's over on the bookshelf. I'm not saying you should go get it. Don't worry about it.
I'm worried.
Yeah, but I should probably bring that up here later, though.
It should have been here a while ago.
Yeah, it really should have. But since we got out of the Old Testament, I was like, yeah, we're not going to
we're going to need it.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
Anyways, continue on.
The 2 bulls in England, the 2 bulls in Egypt possessed a mystery, the sun and the moon, being a witness to the Sabbath. How do you pronounce Sabbath? Sabbath?
Sabaoth? Is that what you
said?
Sabaoth.
Sabaoth. Namely, that over them Sophia received the universe. From that day she made the sun and the moon. She put a seal upon her heaven unto eternity.
Yeah, so these 2 bulls, right? So my first thought would be like the Apis bull, which is the thing that's actually our background. That's it was an object
it
of
is
worship.
noted to most likely be Apis and Nevis.
Apis and Nevis, that makes sense. Yeah. And the thing is, when it came to like a bull cult, Egypt had a pretty serious one. Like they would have these, I forget how often it was, but they would very often have sacrifices too. Was it of a bull? A sacrifice of a bull to Apis, the bull? I think so, if I'm remembering that properly from my Egyptology course. But either way, yeah. But that would make sense if Nevis was the other one.
And the worm that has been born out of the phoenix is a human being as well. It is written, Psalms 91:13, concerning it, the quote, the just man will blossom like a phoenix. And the phoenix first appears in a living state and dies and rises again, being a sign of what has become apparent at the consummation of the age. It was only in Egypt that these great signs appeared, nowhere else, as an indication that it is God's paradise.
Yes.
Which God are they talking about now again? Are they talking about the unknown God? Or are they talking about Yalbeath? Or the great Demerge? Are they talking about the Demerge God in here? Or because he didn't create the heavens, he created
It's
or like Earth, but he didn't create the heavens.
Yeah, there are so many gods here that create so many realms. When they say God,
even Adam was said to have created his own realms.
are we saying like that it's like the immortal realm that preceded the darkness?
Right, yeah, I don't know.
Mormonism is true. Everybody gets their own realm. You get a realm. You get a realm.
We were talking about that
There you go.
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep going.
All right. Let us return to the aforementioned rulers so that we may offer some explanation of them.
Oh, okay,
Now-
good.
Okay, it's going to be explained. Hey, we're going to have an explanation here. Good.
Oh, and this section for me is titled "Proof that the world is in error and ignorance."
All right.
So
I am ready,
Better.
and I know Steve loves talking about proofs. Those are like his favorite things.
I do. I like proofs.
So let's go.
All right, here's your proof. Now, when the 7 rulers were cast down from their heavens unto earth, they made themselves angels, numerous, demonic, to serve them. And then the latter instructed mankind in many kinds of error and magic and potions and worship of idols and spilling of blood and altars and temples and sacrifices and libations to all the spirits of the earth, having their co-worker fate, who came into existence by the concord between the God of injustice and justice. Now, those 7 rulers, are they referring to the 7 dukes and duchesses and everything of hell, the principalities of hell? The 7.
Well, the thing is, what they're talking about. What they're talking about were the children of, I think it was the children, right, of Yaldabaoth.
these,
But when didn't those become like the 7 demons, the major demons of hell, Asmodeus, like Belal and Asmodeus and
Oh no, I think these are different.
I think these are
okay.
different. These are the
these are way
beings
too many rulers
who
of heaven and hell, man.
There are. You're right.
These are the beings who tried to defile heavenly Eve and instead
They're the same
defiled
ones.
earthly Eve.
Yeah.
They're one and the
Instead,
same.
yeah, not heaven. They didn't get heavenly Eve. They got
No, yeah, they got the other one. Oh my god.
yeah.
What a wild ride that was.
They were so close though. But wait a minute, isn't she still stuck in the tree of knowledge with the flaming sword? And the
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Still
stuck.
there.
She's still there. Okay. And thus, when the world had become into being, it distractedly erred at all times. For all men upon earth worship the spirits, demons, from the creation to the consummation, both the angels of righteousness and the men of unrighteousness. Thus, did the world come into to exist in distraction, in ignorance, and in stupor? They all erred until the appearance of true man. I still don't understand the proof here, but
Right, me neither.
yeah.
But apparently all men are, worshiping demons and stuff. So that's everyone in chat and everyone here. Everyone is worshiping.
Well, you
If
see,
it's just men, then I guess it would just be
Ava Satanas.
all of us, and then
much like Pistis,
like half a chat. I don't know.
much like Pistis, you have an anecdote and conjecture, and that serves as evidence.
Right? Yeah. True.
Let this suffice so far as the matter goes. There you go. Conclusion.
What a good proof.
Suffice as so far as the matter goes. Don't question it anymore. This should suffice. It's what it says. I'm reading it verbatim. Let this suffice so far as the matter goes. Now we shall proceed to the consideration of our world, and that we may accurately finish the description of the structure and management. Then it will become obvious how belief in this unseen realm, which has been apparent from creation down to the consummation of age, was discovered. Okay, here we go.
Or there's an alternative translation
okay.
here. Then it will be clear how the proof of hidden things is given in what has been apparent from the foundation of the world to the end of the age.
Gnosticism.
Yeah, so I think that the argument here that is kind of implicit is that you have to have like a gestalt understanding of all of creation and its foundation and its administration in its entirety in order for this proof to be obvious to you. So that's the argument.
Oh, that
I
explains
don't have.
everything.
I guess I don't have the divine spark in me to get this. But
No,
Right.
no.
It's a very like Gnostic thing to be like basically either you're woke or you're not.
Yeah.
And we're the woke ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I come therefore to the main points regarding the immortal man. I shall speak of all beings that belong to him, explaining that they happen to be here. When a multitude of human beings had come into existence through the parentage of Adam, who had been fashioned out of matter, and when the world had already become full, the rulers were masters over it. That is, they kept it restrained by ignorance. For what reason? That's actually a question. For what reason? For the following. Since the immortal Father knows that a deficiency of truth came into being amongst the eternal realms and their universe, when he wished to bring to naught the rulers of perdition through the creatures that they have modeled, he sent your likeness down into the world of perdition, namely the blessed little innocent spirits. They are not alien to knowledge, for all knowledge is vested in one angel who appeared before them. He is not without power in the company of the Father, and he gave them knowledge. What the hell are they talking about?
Wait, so hold on.
Michael the Archangel? Or
but it was Sophia that gave him knowledge, because Sophia's the one that gave man the divine
Right,
knowledge.
unless this is like a whole other section where where paradise, isn't on Earth, right? And then they're getting kicked, and then they're going down to actual Earth, and actual Earth is this world of perdition.
They're getting kicked out of Plemora. They're getting kicked out of the heavens.
They already did that before, yeah.
So
they're out of there.
Pistis
Sophia.
Yeah, Pistis Sophia created the Heavenly Eve, and Heavenly Eve is in possession of the light. And Heavenly Eve creates Earthly Eve. Arguably, Earthly Eve is in possession of the light. Earthly Adam was not, because he did not have a soul. But both of them eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which
But I thought he wasn't sold.
No, he has to like develop. That's what we were talking about before, because we don't know if they interpreted that knowledge as the soul.
They specify that he had life but not a soul.
They did say that, yeah. But then when he ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, did he get his soul then?
It doesn't specify that he got a soul,
right?
But it's possible that he did. But I think that the purpose was with sending. Yeah, it said that the purpose of sending Heavenly Eve to him in the first place was so that his descendants would also be in possession of the light.
Right.
Right. So I'm thinking that his descendants here are also in possession of the light, the way that things worked out. Mm-hmm. So they all have souls.
Later, Landon.
All right. Bye, Landon. Good to see you, buddy. Whenever they appeared in the world of perdition, immediately and the first of all, they revealed the powder of imperishability and the condemnation of the rulers and their forces. Thus, when the blessed beings appeared in the forms modeled by authorities, they were envied. And out of the envy, the authorities mixed their seed with them. We know what that means now. In hopes of polluting them. They could not. Then when the blessed beings appeared in luminous form, they appeared in various ways, and each one of them, starting out in his land, revealed his kind of knowledge to the visible church constituted of the modeled forms of perdition. It, viz. The church, was found to contain all kinds of seed, because the seed of the authorities had been mixed with it. Go ahead. Explain that one.
All right. This sounds like the Watchers.
Yep, I was right.
Yes.
No.
This does sound like the Watchers. This is
like from like the Genesis?
From like Enoch, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Enoch. Oh yeah, like the Watchers were like supposedly this group of angels, or what I didn't explain. They were like, were they Nephilim, or they were like
so the thing so they were angels that rebelled, I guess, and came down to Earth, and they fucked human women. And then from those human women, you get generations of giants and Nephilim.
Yeah, that's what the Nephilim was, I thought.
Yeah.
Well, no,
they're not the ones.
There's different divisions. There's giants, there's Nephilim, and there's one other
Rephirim.
group.
I know they're mixed. I know they're mentioned in the Necronomicon. If you read the the Watchers are from the Mad Arab era.
Like,
he actually talks about that race of being called the Watchers that came down and had sex with all these women, and then giants walked among the earth.
Yeah, but that was because they were the ones that fathered the giants, and the giants fathered the Nephilim. Yeah, so it depends on which text you actually read, because sometimes they switch around the giants and the Nephilim, as we have discovered on this show.
And they also use another term, Rephaim.
They use other ones.
And
I forget
think the Rephaim are the least descended. They're like quarter giants.
Yeah, it's like
Goliath is a Rephaim or something.
It's a generational thing, the way that they have it lined out. But it depends on which book you read for the order of generations.
Yeah, but they were all hunted down, and they're all dead now.
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's
you
hope.
want to continue?
Yeah. Why don't you continue on here? We're in the epilogue.
Hello?
Yeah, you can go ahead, Steve.
Oh, you want me to continue? I thought you were going to continue. Okay. Then the Savior created all of them, and the spirits of them are manifestly superior, being blessed with and varying in election. And also he created many other beings, which have no king and are superior to everyone that was before them. Consequently, 4 races exist. There are 3 that belong to the kings of the 8th heaven, but the 4th race is kingless and perfect, being the highest of all. For these shall enter the holy place of their Father, and they will gain rest in respose, and eternal and unspeakable glory and unending joy. Moreover,
do you remember in Enoch where you have those pits of light?
Yeah.
And one of them wasn't glowing.
Right.
Out of the 4 of them.
One?
Yes.
Yeah, so they had, so in Enoch, they had these 4 pits in hell, essentially. And 3 of them were glowing, and they're the ones that would go on to be resurrected, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then 1 pit was not glowing, and that one is the people that wouldn't get resurrected, right? Or the beings?
People and the beings that aren't coming back.
Yeah.
Because they get bound in these eternal chains in nothingness, apparently. It's like an empty space. That was the 4th place.
Was that the 4th one? Okay, I don't quite remember that all
That's
completely.
where most of the Watchers went, I think.
I think the Watchers went to the ends of the universe.
That's the same thing.
No.
You sure?
No. Okay. Yeah, that's a different thing. There's a dark pit, and it doesn't really talk about what's in the dark pit.
Yeah, I guess. I've forgotten that part of it, but yeah, I think this might be a reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess.
Could be.
Yeah, go on.
Moreover, there are kings within the mortal domain, in that they are immortal. They are condemned, the gods of chaos and their forces. Now, I thought there was only one really god of chaos, which is Loki, which is the trickster god that started all this.
You think they're cool enough for a Loki?
No, they don't got one of those.
Well, is it Yaldabaoth? It's because he gets to be Loki.
Was he?
He's the trickster. Yeah. In the Norse, Loki is somehow related to Yaldabaoth being the trickster god, the Demurge god that said, "Hey, look, I'm the true God. I created the earth." But Jesus comes along and says, "No. There's a true God that's unknown, and He created the heavens. You created this, but you didn't create the heavens, and you're pissing me off because you're lying to people." That's how I kind of interpreted it.
Huh.
It'd be great if Don was in chat.
It's something. Well, it's something like now Loki. I mean, Loki is a trickster, but it's more like he just does foolish things in the stories.
Yeah, you read all the lore on Loki.
Yeah, and like he insults people at drinking parties, and then they beat him up, stuff like that.
Yeah, that is pretty stupid. Yeah. What do you expect?
Now mine.
Yeah, right here. I say Loki is often described as malicious but helpful by the god and giants of Norse mythology, with links to Yaldabaoth.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I've not heard that association before. It doesn't really come through in a text like this.
Right,
so
it wouldn't.
much.
Yeah.
Maybe if we have a more Yaldabaoth.
And then it says henceforth called Yalda. I haven't heard that before.
I think if we read Norse stuff, it'd probably pop up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's a bit left. Do you want to keep reading or?
No, go ahead. Take over.
Okay.
I don't have
Where's the shot?
I mean, I can. If you hand me the book, I can finish it.
I'll do it.
Okay, then.
It's pretty short.
It's almost end. Got like 3 paragraphs.
Yeah. The Word who is above all was sent for one reason only, to announce what is unknown. He said, there is nothing hidden that is not apparent, and what has not been known will be known. Okay. Great. These people were sent to reveal what is hidden and expose the 7 authorities of chaos and their godlessness, and so they were condemned to death. When all those who are perfect appeared in the modeled bodies of the rulers and revealed matchless truth, they put to shame all the wisdom of the gods. Their fate was condemnation. Their power was dried up. Their dominion was dissolved. Their forethought was empty, as was their glory. So here there's the actualization of the ultimate failure of all of these other gods. Before the end of the age, this whole region will shake with loud thunder. The archons will lament because of their fear of death. The angels will grieve for their human beings. The demons will weep over their times and seasons, and their people will mourn and cry on account of their death. Then the age will come, and they will be disturbed. Their kings will be drunk from the flaming sword and will wage war against each other, so that the earth will be drunk from the blood that is poured out. The seas will be troubled by war. The sun will darken and the moon will lose its light. The stars of the sky will abandon their circuits, and loud thunder will roar from a great power above all the powers of chaos where the firmament of the female is located. Apparently the heavenly female, Pistis Sophia.
Yeah.
She had produced the first creation, and now she will put away her wise fire of afterthought and put on irrational wrath. Pistis Sophia will drive out the gods of chaos, whom she had created along with the chief creator, and she will cast them down into the abyss. They will be wiped out through their own injustice. They will be like mountains blazing with fire, and they will consume one another until they are destroyed by their chief creator. When he destroys them, he will turn on himself and attack himself until he is no more.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah, so like the demiurge here literally just like
Gets confused to death.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Huh. Demiurge wants to attack, but Demiurge is
hits
confused.
himself in confusion.
Yeah. The heavens of the gods of chaos will collapse upon one another, and their powers will be consumed. This is very like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah. Like, you guys might not know all that, but that's DC lore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their realms will also be overthrown. Also, Marvel's Secret War is very like this.
Very similar.
Yeah. The chief creator's heavens will fall and split in half. His stars in their sphere, the restoration, his stars in their sphere is tentative, will fall down to earth, and the earth will not be able to endure them. They will fall down to the abyss, and the abyss will be overthrown. The light will overcome the darkness and banish it. The darkness will be like something that never was, and the source of the darkness will be dissolved. The darkness includes everything that exists. Right?
Yeah.
Because
it's like
dark.
Maya, right?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Maya. It's everything material. Deficiency will be pulled out by its root and cast down into the darkness, and the light will withdraw up to its root. The glory of the unbegotten will appear and fill all the eternal realms when the prophets and the writings of rulers are revealed and fulfilled by those who are called perfect. Those who have not become perfect in the unbegotten Father will receive glory in their realms and the kingdoms of immortals, but they will never enter the kingless realm. All must return.
Keep them out of there.
Yep. All must return to the place where they came from. By what they do and what they know, all of them will reveal their natures. And that is the end of On the Origin of the World. So what did we think about On the Origin of the World?
Pretty intense.
It got intense at the in the second half.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's not quite like anything else that we've read so far. It's more of an essay.
What happens if it is the actual real accounting?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Well, absurdism still holds, so I'm not worried.
You're not ever going to get back to the kingless realm then.
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
I guess we're not going to the kingless realm. It's like, oh, geez, it's like Lord of the Rings.
It's more like nobody invited me to the parties anyways, so whatever. It's fine. Pretty used to being left out.
Or it's like Moses. Moses wasn't allowed to return to the Promised Land.
He wasn't allowed to even go to the Promised Land.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed to go there.
Wasn't he promised that he could be to the promised
He was
land?
promised that his people were promised.
His people.
That's a lot of promising, not a lot of doing. Anyways, that's the reading
It's
for
like,
today.
let
yeah.
my people go, not let me and my people go.
Right, yeah, there you go.
You know, the big takeaway from this Gnostic literature is I think that the entire crux of the story is centered around the fact that the actual hero of the story is Satan.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Satan is very clearly the good guy.
That's the good guy in all of this.
Yeah,
He's actually the one telling the truth.
Yeah,
and everything.
he has knowledge that others don't. He's a tutor, and he can't even be
Instructor,
fucked
yeah.
with. He can't even be fucked with by the other beings. So
Yeah, they're scared of him.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think that's the most interesting part of it. That Gnosticism really was part of it.
Flips it on its
the
head.
Original form of Satanism.
right.
Yeah,
In that regard.
yeah,
The
that's
OG.
true.
It's the OG Satanist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the Gnostic. I don't understand the point of the whole sexual assault scene.
No.
Yeah,
but-
me neither.
Have you read the Bible?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it reminded me
all that ancient
of.
stuff. This all came down to sex for some reason.
Of course.
It reminded me of It. You know, the Stephen King book. Yeah.
That book was.
How they just have
Yeah,
like
that's crazy scene at the end.
yeah, this crazy
Yeah.
orgy
It
scene.
came out of nowhere. It's like, and I read that in high school. And I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's that pitch
Disturbing.
meeting where dude's pitching. Yeah, it was it's a joke. If you guys know pitch meetings, they're great. So yeah, he was pitching it, and he was like, "All right," and at the end of the movie, these children are gonna have an orgy, and the producer guy's like, "They're gonna have a what?" It's like, yeah, it's in the book, and he's like, "No way, it's in the book."
Yeah, that's in the
Well,
book.
we didn't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen the movie or read the book.
So, final ratings on the Origin of the World. I'm gonna give it an 8 because it's great.
You know, it is kind of hard to follow. I agree with an 8 rating because it's just so weird in many places, but it's still pretty wild.
I'm going to also give it an 8 because that's easier. Also because it has text that it references that you can't find
That too.
anywhere
Bummer.
else, which is just kind of neat.
Steve,
I'm gonna give it an 8 too. Yeah, it's flowery language. It's very descriptive.
Yeah.
And I like that. I really do. And it also, like I said, it dovetails with Christian beliefs in many ways, and then separates in many ways, which really should give people pause about their own personal beliefs. If you think that the Gnostic literature is way out there, but not some of the stories in
Right.
the Old Testament, then I don't know what to tell you. Because again, I think that they're vastly just part of the same kind of mythos.
they are, yeah.
They are, but they have a very different tone and vibe to them. That's
Yeah,
what I think.
absolutely.
And I've appreciated that, considering how much of the Bible we've had to go through and the very similar perspectives.
Like,
Maybe
we're
the
so
3 or
close.
4 perspectives they have. They've got their inclusive Jewish or Christian. They've got their racist Jewish or Christian, and then they've got their sexist Jewish or Christian. That's the 3 perspectives we get in the
See that?
Bible. It's pretty
Guys,
great.
Right?
We're
look
so
at this.
close.
Look at
We're
how
so close.
we are to finish.
It's like this little tiny part right
Oh
here.
my gosh.
We're so
We'll
close.
finish it next
All
year.
we have to do is read some letters and
Revelation.
Revelation.
Yep.
That's
All right.
it.
Oh.
And let's see, Trevorn, do you think that the Bible is heavily influenced by Egypt in terms of its history? So by in terms of his history, do you mean like in terms of like historiography, or in terms of like its construction was, or how its actual construction was influenced by things that Egypt did? Like if we're talking about like an Egyptian like invasion, right? Then like I think there's one that is outlined in the Bible. Shishak is supposed to be Shushak, I think, and that one is in the Bible. They're like the story about Joseph, taking place in Egypt, and then you have getting out of Egypt as the main plot point for Moses and the Exodus. In that sense, it would be, I guess, if you're asking me how much do their texts do it, like how much influence do they take from the texts? Because those are, I guess I would consider those different questions. But there were certainly, the people who wrote the Bible knew some things about Egypt, obviously, but most of their knowledge probably came from like the correspondence between Egypt and so first of all, there was in Canaan, right? They probably took a lot of knowledge from that. I should say a lot of their knowledge about Egypt from that, and that would be in the Amarna letters specifically. But then there was still correspondences, right? And then of course you have the actual invasions, and then kind of culturally speaking, things change. How much the geography of Egypt influences certain biblical events. Really not that much, because most of the Bible takes place outside of Egypt. Yeah.
Except the one time they parted that sea. Remember that?
Yeah, right. It is really weird how they have to like go through the sea and then go around in this the desert there until they.
When were there for 40 years?
Yeah, it doesn't make, their path is really weird. It doesn't actually make that much sense if you know where you're going, but I guess they're lost in the wilderness, so they don't. But either way, we've checked for evidence along multiple different paths, ways to get from Egypt to Israel, and we've checked a whole bunch of different paths in the Negev, and I mean now we can't really do as much checking because Saudi Arabia is they're heavily what's the word I'm looking for, like since they're progressing so quickly and more of their land is being used for
they're industrializing.
Thank you. So it's gonna get progressively harder to do like excavations, but
it's like that in Israel too.
That too, yeah. Except Israel, they're very they only want a specific groups of people to have access to that information. Yeah. It takes them forever to for the publication of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah. It took forever to publish them.
Right, they give it to 3 guys that they give authority to look at and translate, and those guys go as fast as they want.
Yeah, and then they publish them over the course of 50 years or some shit like that. Like ridiculous.
That's their plan. They have a published plan for how they're going to be releasing it.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit.
With that being said,
but yeah, Joseph living in Egypt. I'm actually going to go over that way more in depth on Aaron's show once we get to that, because the Joseph story itself is probably just a later insertion. It was probably an independent novella, basically.
All right.
Yeah. Yes. Well, with that being said, this brings our show to a close. First, I'm going to direct our audience. Check out our Patreon, where you can become a patron. You could be on the show. You could win yourself a T-shirt. You could get our video scripts for our scripted videos. If you don't want to enter into a T-shirt giveaway through Patreon, you could just buy yourself a T-shirt like the one that's pinned right up there. And
what a T-shirt! What a great t-shirt.
If you want to support us in a different way, you could become a member, a YouTube membership. We got that going on. And we have an Amazon wish list full of books.
Links for everything are in the description.
Yep. Send in your diss tracks.
Yeah.
MilwaukeeAtheists@gmail.com.
Are you going to give me a Lawrence diss track?
I'm gonna give you a Lawrence diss track. What is that gonna entail? You're gonna just do what, a rap thing for you?
Yeah. You gotta enter the Lawrence diss track. It's not really a contest, but
I might be able to write some lyrics, but I can't sing.
That's pretty good.
We have been asking people to send in a Lawrence diss track for like 3 years, and no one has ever done it.
yeah, really unfortunate. But I'll take a diss track.
If we could get G-Man to watch the show.
G-Man totally.
I could write some lyrics for G.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I could do a collab with G-Man on that. I wouldn't care.
Oh, that sounds funny.
Hilarious.
Steve Mcrae, feat G-Man.
Right.
Oh my God,
I'll ask him. I'll ask him. I just
that's
talked
gonna be
about
great.
it.
that'd be gold.
Yeah.
That'd be gold.
All right, Steve, what have you got going on that you'd like to share with the audience to shield everyone?
I got very little, to be honest. Like I said, I apologize to people that watch my shit. I've been not feeling well in November. I'm just now kind of getting over it. So I got to get back on track because I haven't been streaming as much. But if you want to find me, I'm over on my channel, Steve Mcrae, or the Non Sequitur Show, which I still do on Fridays when I'm feeling up to it. I don't think I'm going to have a show today. I apologize, but go check it out. We are still doing the Non Sequitur Show, and Lawrence, I'm gonna have to get you back on to talk about something with someone. But yeah, that's how you can go find me. I just been busy. I've been busy too. I'm working long hours. I'm working, all the time, and not being online as much as I used to. So,
Oof.
Yeah, I get
I love
that.
doing this kind of stuff. I'm thrilled to be invited here when you guys invited me for this. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for having
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Anytime you want to be, one of the few people who have ever appeared on the Friday show.
Right? Yeah, we
I
had
feel special.
like 2 people, right? It's Steve and David Skelton. Yeah.
That's right. I don't even think Chris won or
Chris won and Jim were never.
never on Friday.
I think we had Chris on once during the Testament of Job, didn't we?
I don't think so.
No,
Didn't
we only had him
No,
on for
we,
main
we,
Job.
Yeah, we had him on for the actual Book of Job multiple times. Yeah.
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 No, he was never a Friday guest. So yeah, Steve is in a prestigious position, being one of the very few.
I'm honored.
Yes.
All right. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed the show. And we've already done all the shilling. Links are in the description.
So we'll
see you on Sunday for 2 Corinthians
and then
and
Friday,
gonna
and then
continue the
Sunday, and then
Bible.
Friday.